Hello, this is James Hunter, and I'm going to speak today about basically what is my routine during the week for strength training, lifting weights, working out, right? In my 50s, my approach is different than when I was younger for different reasons. I would say one of the reasons, quite frankly, is just mentally in terms of how I approach it and how I internalize my workouts. A lot easier, right? It's not this overthinking, if you will. I don't overthink it. So my routine that I follow, or my methodology, if you will, basically it's driven by what my goals are as a man and his 50s. So essentially, I just want to stay as strong as I possibly can. I want to have agility, quickness, speed, horizontal power, vertical power. I want to be well balanced across, the whole gamut of what you think about fitness. But the way I approach it is much more preferable. If I think now that I'm older, if I would just go back in history, I probably, may have done it this way too, even in my 20s and 30s, 40s, etc. So here's basically what I do, because some people ask me, what's my approach towards working out? So I'm going to give you an example. Actually, I'm going to give you what I did this past week, exactly what my routine was. And then I'm going to flow it through for basically how it works for me. And then I'm going to walk you through it for basically how I organize things. So last week on Monday, I started the week with training back and biceps. For back, I do at least three movements, which are rows. I do the high lat row pull down, dumbbell row, just one side at a time. And then I'll also, maybe do a seated cable row. And I might even throw in a fourth exercise, which could be something like dumbbell pullovers. It gives a real good stretch of the lats. And so you've seen that move done, made famous by Arnold Schwarzenegger in his docudrama, Pump and Iron. You can do that same movement, the pullovers from a standing position, using the cables if you'd like as well. So dumbbells or the cables, I might use either one. I prefer dumbbells, just feels like a deeper stretch. So for back, yeah, I'll do basically those movements. It's not too complicated. I just keep it simple. Those are the bread and butter for my workout for back. I just do really hammer the rows. Every week I'm going to hit rows pretty hard. So after I do my back exercises, at least typically three movements, I might throw in the fourth, like I said, like the dumbbell pullover. Then afterwards, yeah, I'll hit probably two exercises for biceps, maybe hammer curls with dumbbells. I may do isolated curls one arm at a time using the cables, because it basically where I stand facing away from the pulley on the cable, to where it constantly is just maintaining tension throughout the movement. When I do a curl, I get a better soreness that way. So I may do curls on the cables. And so at least two exercises for biceps. Maybe I might throw in a third one, like barbell curls. So that's pretty straightforward to the point. Back and biceps, I do my three or four back exercises, usually typically three, do two bicep exercises. I move through that workout in probably 35, 40 minutes, because I don't play around. I go right through my sets, just minimal rest. Now, I have time left over at the end. I may run a mile. I may run a mile and a half, get my heart rate up. I may do some jumping jacks, maybe some planks, something like that at the end, and then stretch at the very, very end. So that would be, basically what I do on a Monday, or that's what I actually did on Monday. So Tuesday, I'm going to make it just a day for running and agility, or basically just type of a quick type movements. Maybe it's doing shuttle runs, which is just quick lateral movements where you stop and while pivoting, you turn the other direction as quickly as possible and sprint. I may do some cones, squat jumps, plyometric boxes. You get the idea. Anything that's agility oriented, basically explosive power, just using body weight and doing things like jumps for broad jumps, vertical jumps, for example. So I may do that. And that's what I did on Tuesday. There was no weights on that day. So on Wednesday, that was my leg day. So yeah, my leg day can look like this. Barbell squats. So I'm 53 years old. I still squat free weights. The barbell, have more free range of motion. I do not like Smith machines. Typically stay away from any machine that mimics a squat movement. Some are better than others, but there's nothing that's going to beat just a barbell squat free weight, where basically it's essentially you managing your body, balancing that weight on your back, shoulders, however you place the bar for your situation. So that's a movement. I'm able to do it safely, effectively. I'm going to keep doing it, right, until I can't. Some people have different ideas about whether you should squat after the age of 50. I'm not a broad brush person. I know there's other videos where people will tell you do not deadlift and do not do squats in your 50s, and they'll give their reasons for why. Now, my thoughts on that real quick is it's just a depends situation on an individual basis. Does the benefit of the adaptations you're getting and that adaptations it's helping you to maintain outweigh the risk or what it may be it would cost you? For some people, it may not. If they have orthopedic issues, pre-existing conditions, injuries in the past, etc. Yeah, that's not going to make sense for them. For example, to use an extreme example, Ronnie Coleman, former eight-time Mr. Olympia, it would be insanity for someone like him to try to continue doing squats. Make no sense, right? So that's just an extreme example. Other people, maybe you're not as debilitated as someone like Ronnie Coleman, but you may have other situations going on. So maybe you don't do the squat. I get it. So you find something different or comparable to get the essential mechanical stress on the body where you need it to maintain bone mineral density and muscular adaptations. So, okay, yeah, I do the squat. And if I do squats, it's the first exercise I do. That's me. I always start with that movement or the biggest movement, if you will. So it'd be squat. And then after that, I may do the 45-degree angle, plate loaded leg press machine. Not all the time, but sometimes I will work it in there right after squats. And then I'll do some walking lunges and a variety of lunges. After that, so that's like the lunges, that'd be the third leg exercise. I'll do some leg extensions. Usually leg extensions, I'll hit 5, 6 sets, maybe at the most 8 sets. That's pushing it. Then I immediately go into hamstrings at the very end. Some people have different thoughts about hamstrings, maybe train them separately on a different day so you can target them more, and I can appreciate that. But for my situation on legs, I throw everything in there on that particular workout. So yep, hamstrings, probably two basic exercises. Leg curls in a supine position. So I'll be laying down slightly downward at an angle. So I'll do leg curls for my hamstrings first movement. And then I may do RDLs if you want to say RDLs, right? Basically, that's good for the hamstrings too. Those two movements, I'm good, works for my situation. At the very end, I'm going to do seated calf presses, probably 5 to 6 sets at least. And then I might do some calf presses from a standing position with knees is slightly bent because there's a benefit to doing them both different ways, especially for people if you're into running like I am, that just really conditions the calves more completely overall, reduces the chances of injuries of strained calf muscles. So then my fourth workout of the week on Thursday would be chest, shoulders, and tricepticons, right? Triceps. So that'll be the workout I do for Thursday. And that's pretty straightforward. Typically, I pick 2, 3 movements for chest, and then I will pick probably about 2 to 3 movements for shoulders using dumbbells. Sometimes I do the overhead barbell press, if you will. And I like to do overhead barbell presses a bit more explosive, more intentional, quicker, faster movements. And there's a different video where I'll talk about why I do that in my 50s. Much more effective for what my goals are as a 53-year-old man, as far as how that's transferable and the adaptations it helps me to produce and maintain. So triceps, different movements for triceps. I like to do the overhead with the rope extension. It really stretches that tricep a lot better. And then the press downs that are pretty straightforward. I'll do those as well, but not as much as I used to, because I think the overhead with either a dumbbell, skull crushers, or just the rope over the rope over your head, if you will. Right? I'm trying to demonstrate while sitting in this chair. So that's it for triceps, right? It's pretty straightforward. It's not groundbreaking stuff. It's things people have been doing forever. So that's what I do on Thursday, the fourth workout. So then on Friday, I'm back to back and biceps again, which is where I started on Monday. So it'll be a workout that might be a little similar to what I did on Monday, but usually I may leave out the dumbbell rows, because when I do dumbbell rows, I do heavy dumbbell rows to really get that deep stretch, and I'll have that good deep soreness in my back. So the follow-up back and bicep workout on Friday might just be the cables, high lat row pull downs, from just using the cables, if you will, just using the cable station setup, if you will. So I'll just keep the back movements with the cables only. I might use a plate loaded machine, like a hammer strength machine, to do the lat pull downs overhead, using one of those machines and instead of the cables. But the back workout is just kind of like an extra workout at the end of the week. So the follow-up back workout on Friday is me hitting back twice in the same week. And then I will do biceps afterwards at the end of the back exercises. Same thing as I did on the Monday workout, right? Hammer curls, maybe some cable curls. I might do some dumbbell concentration curls, perhaps. It's variable. So in this example, I just gave you Monday back and biceps, Tuesday running and agility, Wednesday leg day, Thursday chest, shoulders, tricep, and then Friday following up again with a back and bicep workout. Is exactly what I did, and I'm pretty sore, but I call it the good sore, meaning that I feel soreness that actually feels good. It's like I've done something, but I'm still able to have movement and go do things as I want to. It doesn't hold, it's not like a debilitating soreness where you're crippled like some people after their leg day, right? So, no, it's a good soreness. Now, next week on Monday, it starts up again. But I'm not going to start next week with doing back and biceps again on a Monday because my back biceps have that soreness. So I don't want to hit them again on Monday. I want to give my back and biceps probably at least 72 hours of recovery. So that's today, which is Saturday. Tomorrow, Sunday. Monday will be, that 72-hour period. So what I'm going to do next week, I'm going to start with chest, shoulders, and triceps on Monday. Tuesday, again, running, agility type movements, plyometrics, box jumps, broad jumping, vertical jumping. I might throw in some planks at the end and stretching again, right? Wednesday, that's going to be leg day again. I just keep Wednesday as my leg day. Thursday, we'll be back in biceps, right? Same movements I mentioned. And then on this next week on Friday, I'm going to do a follow up of what I did on what will be the Monday workout will be chest, shoulders, and triceps. So next week, chest, shoulders, and triceps will be hit twice in 1 week, and then back and biceps will only be hit once next week. So if you get where this is going, essentially the way I have it set up is during a month, basically on average 4 weeks in a month, right? So every month, all my upper body parts are being trained twice a week, every other week. And then the in between week where, say, the upper body parts are only being hit once per week, like next week, I'm only going to hit back and biceps once because of how I'm starting it off with chest, shoulders, and triceps on Monday. But because I know I'm only going to hit back and biceps once next week, I'm gonna hit them hard. I'm gonna go heavier than I normally do, more intensity. I may even add an extra movement in there and the biceps, I'll hit those pretty good too. I'll probably stick to 2 or 3 movements. But to use the expression, I'm going to kill it, right? Because it's only one workout for the week, and there'll be plenty of recovery time before the next week when then they get hit twice. Same thing with this week prior, where I did chest, shoulders, and triceps one time last week, but I hit them hard because I knew it was the only time I was going to hit them. A bit heavier, shorten the rest period, might even throw in extra sets and compound sets where you just do 2 exercises back to back. You can call it superset if that works for you. That's a whole other conversation. Supersets versus compound sets. So yeah, I hit it hard because it was one time last week. Chest is pretty recovered by now, but it's what it is. So this is an example that's variable. It's every other week. I'm hitting my particular upper body parts the way I pair them, if you will, um, twice twice in 1 week, every other week. So basically twice a month, I hit upper body parts twice in 1 week. And then 2 of the weeks will be upper body parts only going to get hit once per week. And on those weeks, yeah, I'm going to really attack it, train a lot harder because it's just one time that week. What about legs, right? Well, legs is once a week on Wednesday, and I hit them pretty hard. The thing is, what I need to add into this discussion is that I also do deadlifts, and I work in deadlifts once a week, and it's going to be on the day that I do back and biceps. So that the day I do deadlifts, which will be on the same day of back and biceps, I start with deadlifts first. Biggest movement, I start first with that. And I listen to my body and I kind of just keep the weight to where it feels sufficient to provide me the stimulation, a challenge. I do work in sets of I like at least 5 reps is good for me. I might do my last set and rep it out, maybe 10 reps depending on the weight. Or I might go the other direction, more weight and fewer reps just to kind of test my strength out a bit and kind of keep my strength in a reasonable range, right? So the deadlifts, once a week only. So if it's a week where I'm doing back and biceps twice in one week, I'm typically going to pick the last back and bicep of the week, which will be on a Friday, to do those deadlifts because the back exercises will be a little bit lighter on that day, right? So it kind of works out for my situation. But what about the legs? Well, okay. On that day that I'm doing the deadlifts, after I do the back and biceps, I will go ahead and get on the leg curl machine and do some leg curls, hamstring curls, right? And that's allowing hamstrings to be trained twice a week by doing it that way. I just kind of sneak it in there. And what about my quads, right? Well, when you do deadlifts, part of the movement is using your legs to initiate the movement. So that leg drive off the bottom portion of the movement, when you're deadlifting, if you're doing it correctly, you're using your legs. So your legs are getting the stimulation, the adaptations, in addition to your extensor spinae, lumbar area, all the back muscles, and everything else that gets stimulated while doing a deadlift. So if you're doing deadlifts the way they're supposed to be done, your legs are deriving a benefit too. So technically, yeah, my legs are being getting that some stimulation training twice a week, even though they're not necessarily being officially having a day designated twice a week for them. So I think you get the idea. That's basically what my workout program is that helps keep me fit, strong for my weight, have a lot of energy to be fast, be able to jump, have agility, and that's what I've been doing when I turned 50. I just started moving in the direction of I don't stress as much. I don't overthink stuff. I do not worry about it. I go to the gym. I enjoy my workouts, whatever the weight, however it's feeling, I go with that. Some days I might feel stronger than others. And yeah, I could talk about nutrition and how that comes into play and how that may influence how strong I feel on certain days. I don't get caught up anymore if I see somebody uh, who's probably 6'2", probably weighs 240 pounds, and they're doing deadlifts, so 405 pounds for, I don't know, 4 or 5 reps. And then the last rep, they drop it just so it can make noise when it hits the ground. And I'm looking at that person doing that set, thinking to myself, when I was in my 40s, only weighing 160 pounds, that was my workout weight for 5 reps. My working sets of 5 reps, 405 pounds in my 40s, right? Um, Never mind this young man is in his 20s, probably late 20s. So, anyways, I don't allow my ego to say, I'm going to show that guy. Let me go throw the 405 on there and go do it for 5 reps like I used to in my 40s, just so I can feel good and about my ego that I got to be strong, as strong, or try to be stronger, or maybe as strong as I was 10 years ago, 15 years ago. At a certain point, you got to tame the ego, learn to be okay. You don't have to be the strongest person in the gym. There's always people stronger than you, right? And you don't always have to feel the pressure to be as strong as you were 10, 15 years ago in terms of how you organize or how you plan your sets for how much weight you're going to use, how much you're going to load the bar up, right? So I load the bar up with enough weight to produce or to create essential mechanical stress to keep my adaptations that I've developed over the years, 40 years of lifting weights. So that's a big thing too that will help you prevent injuries from getting hurt. Don't lift with your ego, listen to your body. That being said, to balance this out, at the same time, do not be afraid to challenge yourself. Don't say because I'm older, I'm just going to lift super light weights. And that's your, I guess, rationalization and not push yourself. So I'm not saying that either. We just need to know the threshold for where you're using enough weight to get optimal adaptations and benefits for your fitness and health. But at the same time, you're not breaching a threshold because of the ego where, yeah, you might get an injury and then it's not worth it anymore. So I think you get the idea. Here's I'm just sharing some thought about what I've been doing and how I approach working out. Um, I'll say that working out for me is probably a lot more fun now that I'm older. And I would say a lot of that has to do with just having peace with who you are, uh, being happy, having gratitude, for things that matter and that are important in your life. But at the same time, your fitness, your health, um, it's important, right? It's important. Yeah, it's who you are on the inside, having a good heart, all that jazz, which I can appreciate that. But you want to have a fit vessel, if you will. You know, say your avatar. Um, in my opinion, to some extent, how we make a reasonable effort to try to prioritize our fitness and health, it does say something. It does, whether people like that or not. I think it says something about our character or just as far as where we place value. Yeah, that's right. Where we place value, what's important to us. So, in a sense, there's no judgment about what people want to do, but in terms of just a general type of judgment, which everybody has, which has to do with their internalized values, right? I place value on my health, physical health, mental health. I place value on being as rich in health as possible, so that benefits the people I love and that whose lives I'm a part of, right? So I can be here for as long as possible. So, anyways, I could go on a bunch of tangents today. I could keep going and ramble about a lot of different topics. But in my channel, I generally speak about issues that pertain to mental health, physical health, wellness type topics, and other topics of interest sometimes you'll notice on my channel because why not? So if you appreciate content that's variable in the realm of fitness, health, mental health, existential issues, relationships, and more, I'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe to my channel, like the video, and I hope you're having a good weekend and take care. Thank you.